Greetings and welcome to another Pokemon Go vlog. This is going to be a longish story about my personal progress in the game. Not going to cover news or tips this time because it's been like almost 2 weeks since I recorded a vlog, so I'm a bit behind, but at the end of the first week I wasn't sure I had enough progress to share, and the app that I was using to record my iOS screen was disabled by Apple. So this vlog is going to be just a series of pictures. So I'm going to recount my travel over the past 2 weeks. Started off, I was continuing to check my local Clefairy nest to A, see what else was spawning there, and B, to see if there were any nest migrations, which still have not come. And to my surprise, I caught a Cubone, the last Cubone that I needed to evolve into a Marowak, so that was super awesome, checking another guy off my Pokedex. And then I went back to Barron's Park in Elmhurst, Illinois, hoping to catch Digletts, and I wasn't able to spend quite as much time there as I had desired due to a number of other personal errands and the fact that it was fairly far away. But while I was there, I did hatch another Abra, which allowed me to evolve my Alakazam. Then, while walking the dog, I hatched a Machop, which allowed me to evolve a Machoke. So right there, I was able to tick some more Pokemon off my list. In the mail the next day, we received these really cool Team Mystic badges that we're going to have pinned onto our lanyards at Minecon. That was awesome. And the next day, the buddy system finally came out for Pokemon. Now, I had been using a tracker to try and figure out, okay, which Pokemon do I still need to evolve? How many individual candy would I need to evolve them if I were to get the candy from walking with my buddy? How many kilometers would I need to walk? How many eggs would I need to hatch to get those evolutions? Or how many nests, how long would I have to spend there to get those evolutions, and how often do I find those Pokemon in the wild, and how many weeks would it take to get my evolutions? And so I kind of combined all those factors together, and I decided that I was close enough to getting my Dugtrio that I wanted to make my Diglett my first buddy. So Barron's became the first buddy that I was able to have. That week, I also took another trip down to Aurora, Illinois, where I caught an Onix near the Onix nest that I reported on in a nest video. So that's my second Onix, and I kept him because I know at some point I'm going to want to evolve a Steelix. But that was cool, seeing an Onix. It's only really the third Onix I've seen since getting this game. Yet again, checking out the Clefairy nest, this time I came across another Dragonite. So this is the second Dragonite that has spawned in the Clefairy nest, supporting some data that I read on PokemonHub.net that claims that Dragonite most often spawn in Clefairy nest. It totally seems to be true. Whatever spawn table is in the code in the background, if you know of a Clefairy nest and you want a Dragonite, I would monitor that over the course of about 2 weeks or so. I'm pretty sure you will find one. Fast forward to the weekend, and it was Matthew, my son's birthday. So he had a Pokemon-themed birthday party, and he invited about 10 kids from his school and from friends and cousins. And we had a Pokemon-themed party, also including the kids going out to the neighborhood and catching Pokemon Go. And that was really cool. And while I was walking them around, sure enough, I had my buddy find enough candy to finally evolve that Dugtrio. At which point, I switched my buddy over to Grimer. Now, the Grimer was not necessarily the closest Pokemon that I had to evolving, but it is the Pokemon that I have seen the least in the wild. And so if I didn't use my buddy, it would take me theoretically the longest to evolve from Grimer into Muck. It was pretty much a toss-up between him and the Coughing, but I felt like I had seen a few more Coughing overall than Grimer. So Grimer became my buddy. The next day, we had our family birthday party for Matt, which is all the aunts, uncles, grandparents, etc. And as part of that, I took all the kids over to the Bodie Lake Charmander nest, A, to just let them catch something fun and exciting that they didn't have, but B, we wanted to, again, see if the nests had migrated. So as of last Sunday, still no migration. While I was there, though, one of my nephews was carrying my iPhone and hatched my 10K egg. I was really hoping for one of the 4 Pokemon that I needed, which would be Aerodactyl, Lapras, Chansey, or Hitmonlee, but it was a Snorlax, and that's pretty cool because I've only seen one other Snorlax in the wild up until now, but it wasn't exactly what I wanted out of the 10K egg. Fast forward to the next morning, I left my house about 3:30 a.m. and I went to O'Hare Airport here in Chicago, where I was able to catch a few Pokemon using incense and lots of Pokestops. I flew from O'Hare to Denver, where I repeated the process of using incense to try and catch Pokemon, because there were no Pokemon spawning at either airport. For some reason, airports are not designated as Pokemon spawning points, which I think they would be one of the most perfect places for it, because A, they're highly trafficked, and B, there's not much you have to do while waiting around for a plane that is delayed. From Denver, I then flew to Portland, Oregon, to PDX Airport, and at this point I confirmed airports do not have Pokemon, which is very disappointing, but plenty Pokestops and gyms. While in Portland on Monday for work, after work actually, I went to a nearby park called Mount Tabor, which is literally a huge mountain, some type of water reservoir, lots of trails, lots of car paths through there, and tons of Ammonite. It was quite amazing how many Ammonite were spawning in that nest, so I very quickly got my Amistar. And the next morning, Tuesday, I actually flew from Portland to San Francisco. Again, not much to do there at the airport, except somebody was kind enough to lure 2 Pokestops within range of my gate. And so then I returned the favor, and we traded lures back and forth as our plane was delayed for about 2 more hours. While I was there, I listened to an episode of the Recode Decode podcast, in which they interviewed John Hanke. He's the CEO of Niantic that makes Pokemon Go. He had some interesting things to say about the game. I'm not going to go into all of them here, but I do suggest you either listen to it or find the transcript on Reddit, which is where I found out about it, Reddit/r/Pokemon Go. And one of the interesting things, though, is that while they do have trading and individual player versus player battles on their roadmap, it doesn't sound like any of these things are coming anytime soon. And I think Trainer Tips also covered this in one of his recent vlogs. I think the roadmap that I had for kind of monthly major content releases is definitely going to shift to be quarterly. And so even Generation 2 in Pokemon Go, we're not expecting now to see that until spring at the earliest, which I have some strong feelings about that, but we'll cover that another time. So from San Francisco, then I flew back to O'Hare. Along the way, I was able to hatch another Machop, which was pretty cool. Not enough to get my Machoke up to a Machamp, but that's alright. And then, last but not least, last night while walking the dog, I hatched another Machop. So within these 2 weeks, 3 of my 5K eggs have all been Machop, which is quite excellent because I need Machops. Needless to say, even with all that traveling, a lot of evolutions, a lot of catching Pokemon, I am still only level 25, but I have increased the number of Pokemon caught to 133 out of 142 possible. So I'm only 9 Pokemon away from completing the Pokedex at this point in the game. I did finally achieve my 2K collector badge, so that was cool. My jogger badge is 496 kilometers walked, so I'm almost at that 500 mark. In fact, I think at the time of recording this, it may even be later than the screenshot you're seeing. So I think I probably have passed the 500k mark, which is really huge in my mind. I'm really proud of that achievement, but I'm going to keep tracking it till the badge turns gold. The other badge that I'm tracking right now is the breeder badge. I have now hatched 192 eggs. That's 10 more than I had in my last vlog. And I don't know why, but I'm still tracking the youngster badge. I'm at 39 extra small Rattata out of 50. So that's 11 more tiny Rattata than I had before. And I can tell you that's 11 more Rattata out of probably 100 Rattata that I caught over the past 2 weeks. Crazy amount of Rattata. Also, with some of those catches at airports and hatches at lakes, my highest CP Pokemon has changed. So, in a surprise visit, I believe at the Portland airport, it might have been at San Francisco, I caught an Executor, which was a boss Executor, question mark, question mark, question mark. And he turned out to be 1730 CP. This is, again, unpowered up. My second highest new Pokemon now is Snorlax at 1720. That means that Gyarados that I had worked for 60 days to grind out Magikarps at 1712 CP is now my third strongest Pokemon. In terms of raw CP, I haven't messed around with the stats, the IVs of any of these Pokemon, because it's just not quite useful at all yet to me. Alright, so I mentioned I needed 9 more Pokemon. I still need Hitmonlee, Chansey, Lapras, and Aerodactyl out of their 10k eggs, but I'm getting close to the other 5 Pokemon. So Machamp, I need 70 more candy, which is catching 18 more Machamps or hatching a few more 5k eggs. I used to know of a fairly slow Machop nest, which is gone, but I am hoping with the nest migration there will be another one somewhat close to me. And Venusaur, this is probably the most painful Pokemon that I need because I need 65 more candy, 65 Bulbasaur candy, or I need to catch 17 more Bulbasaur. It's not quite as much as the Machop, but the thing that makes it painful is that I knew where a Bulbasaur nest was, and I had actually visited it for a video, but I just didn't stay long enough to catch any number of Bulbasaur. And then for about a 2-week period, I was seeing them every morning on a particular drive on the way home from dropping my son off at school, and I honestly haven't seen one since, in the wild or at a nest. And so this feels like an opportunity missed. But again, hopefully a future nest migration will give me some Bulbasaurs close to home. Alright, third Pokemon that I need is the Muck. Again, right now my Grimer is in the driver's seat from a buddy perspective. I need 37 candy, which is quite a lot, but I feel like Grimer is the Pokemon that I've seen the least in the wild. So even though it's slow progress, I am making progress on a Muck. My Golem, or Geodudes, which I need for Golem, are probably the Pokemon on this list that I've seen the most in the past 2 weeks. I'm up to only needing 33 Golem or Geodude candy or catching 9 more Geodudes, and so I think rather than make this my buddy, I'm going to go ahead and keep the Grimer and catch these in the wild. And from a wheezing perspective or a coughing perspective, I only need 12 candy, which is 3 catches or 1 egg. And I think he is definitely going to be my next buddy Pokemon after I get my Muck. So that's a lot of information about my progress. this coming up weekend, I'm going to be at Minecon in Anaheim, so yet another plane ride back to the West Coast. We're going to see what kind of cool Pokemon we can catch there. A friend of mine from the Minecraft scene by the name of QWERTY believes that he knows a good Lapras location, and he said he knows a pretty good Coughing location. So potentially, when I do a vlog from there, you're going to see 2 more evolutions, and then I'll only need 7 more Pokemon to complete this portion of the Pokedex. I'm really looking forward to Minecon. If you're going to be there, let me know. I'm going to have a separate video come out specific to Minecon very shortly. Hope you are having the best of luck with your Pokemon Go experience. Have a great day.